Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Hearing Him First. This is just a collection of short videos that are designed to help you hear God first, to hear His voice the loudest and the clearest, and so that's the purpose here. I just like to take a few minutes, a couple times a week, and share an idea or a thought that was meaningful to me from my early morning devotions. Most days I get up, get a cup of coffee, make it to a chair, sit down, go through a reading list that follows the Linwood Banding Together journals that we have here at my church. Right now we're in the book of Exodus. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was just getting started in the book of Exodus and read about Moses' call. You might be familiar with this story when the Lord spoke to Moses out of a burning bush. So that's kind of the context of where we are there. And if you're not familiar with that, you can read about it in Exodus chapter 3 and 4. I'm going to focus on verses 10 and 12, 10 through 12 of chapter 4. So if you want to open up a Bible and read along with me, this is there's been some going back and forth between Moses and God as God has been explaining this call and what he is wanting Moses to do and how he's wanting him to do it. And that's kind of where we pick things up. Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to me. I am slow of speech and of tongue." And so the Lord said to him, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say." And if I'm honest, I resonate with Moses in this interchange. Perhaps we all do to some degree. In this case, God is crystal clear in his instructions to Moses. God promises to be with him, and he even shows Moses the miracles that he will perform as this interaction goes back and forth. And yet, Moses offers excuse after excuse and objection after objection. And this, keep in mind, is Moses. This is the great prophet, the great man of faith, the great leader of Israel. And even he finally asked God, would you just send somebody else? Before all these things took place, before Moses became who he was to be, he struggled with this. He struggled with obedience. He struggled with having the faith to follow God. He was asked to do a pretty tall order. Go into Pharaoh, go back to Egypt where you're a wanted man, go back to Pharaoh, the most powerful man alive, and demand that he let God's people go. It was no small task, but at the same time, I find this somewhat encouraging, that even this great man of God struggled with his call. And I find it encouraging that God can and still does choose to work in and through us despite our objections, in and through me, despite me dragging my feet or asking him to send somebody else in my place. And so just keep that in mind, and keep this in mind as well. If you read Exodus chapter 4, at the beginning of the chapter, God says to Moses, "What is in your hand?" Now Moses is a shepherd, and so he has a shepherd's staff in his hand. And God says, "Throw it on the ground." And he does. It becomes a snake. Moses runs away. God calls him back, says, "Pick it up." And as he picks it up, it returns to becoming a staff again. And God says, "From now on, through you, I will do my wonders." And if you read the rest of the narrative, as the different miracles take place in Egypt, each time the staff is involved, he strikes the ground, he dips it in the river Nile, he reaches it and extends his hand over the Red Sea, and the Red Sea dries up. And so I think there's a really powerful lesson there, that if we will take what we have, our identity, as a shepherd in Moses' case, our identity might be our work. It might be a role that we take as a stay-at-home mom, or as somebody's son, somebody's daughter, first and foremost as a child of God. But we take that identity and we lay it at God's feet. He can do something wonderful with it. And so that's my encouragement to you today, and my prayer for you as well as for myself is that God would not only forgive our own lack of faith and the times that we've delayed or completely failed to obey him, but also that He would help us, that He would help us to have the faith, to obey quickly and completely. So that's my hope and my prayer for you, and God bless you. Hope you have a phenomenal day. If this has encouraged you and you want to share it with somebody, send it to them in a message. Go to YouTube and click in the search bar, Hearing Him First. Just type that in. This comes up right away. You can watch any that you might have missed. You can share the links with people, and make sure you subscribe. So have a great day. We'll see you again soon.